All right. Once again, good evening to all of us. If my audio is still okay, kindly give me a thumbs up so that we just start right away. Okay, so Honorable Charles Ephraim says the audio is okay, so we are starting. Again, when you come on, kindly mute your microphone. All right. Once again, good evening to all of us. If my audio is still okay, kindly give me a thumbs up so that we just start right away. Okay, so Honorable Charles Ephraim says the audio is okay, so we are starting. Again, when you come on, kindly mute your microphone. All right. Once again. All right. So good evening to all of us once again. My name is Mr. Edward Mafo, and I am the General Secretary of YEC. Now, let me use the opportunity to welcome all of us onto this very important conference call. Also, let me also use the opportunity to congratulate all of you. It's been a gruesome 90 days of going through what we call a voting process, possibly for the first time on the Youth Model Parliament program. We had to determine membership based on the voting activity that we just did. Regardless of how stressful it's been, that was our activity and then our process. And going through it alone also shows the level of seriousness and commitment that the person who goes through it actually have towards what we need to do. So let me use the opportunity on behalf of the consortium to congratulate all of us once again. Now, this very important meeting will be in twofold. I will speak for some time, today quite slowly, and then when I'm done, we will pick some few questions as well for clarity. But before that, I will urge all of us to pay swift attention so that if you have questions and it gets answered in a process, you can just drop it and we can move on. So when I'm done with the presentation, we'll open the floor, we'll pick the questions, and then we'll move on from there. So kindly take note of that. So quickly, as I introduced myself, my name is Mr. Edward Mafu, and I'm a General Secretary of YEC. The meeting is also being recorded, so you can also keep track of it later on. All right. Now, the Youth Empowerment Consortium is an organization that promotes youth participation in governance and socioeconomic development. Now, the consortium was registered in 2017. That was somewhere February 2017 as YEC Group into records. Instead of the Youth Empowerment Consortium, you rather find YEC Group initiatives. That is what you will find. Now, with a simple mission of raising leaders that will be known for their responsibilities in action, their integrity in character, their execution. And the consortium runs programs within what we call the 7 structures of influence in every nation. Now, in any nation that you visit, there are about the pillar or structure for governance and political leadership. There's also the pillar or structure for business and entrepreneurship. There's also the pillar for media and communication. You will find the pillar for entertainment and art. There is a pillar for family. And then there is one for I think culture, there are 7. These are 7 structures that runs nations. So wherever you go to, you'll find a system that runs the administrative network of that particular country. Now, as in whether it is democratic, autocratic, a monarchy, whether they are fighting, whatever happens in there, you will still find a formal structure somehow acceptable by the people or unacceptable by the people that runs that particular nation. Aside that, also, you will find framework for trade, framework for industry, framework for business. You also come across one for education of some kind. You will meet family construct of another. And then there is also media and communication, whether it is state-owned or it's a collaboration between state and private. And then there's some form of culture, as in how the people live their lives. You'll find it, there are about 7. Now, the inherent idea is that any young person that endeavor to make impact in this lifetime is supposed to quickly identify where his or her passion lies, and then go through processes to acquire the needed skill within this particular structure. And then when you are skilled enough, the belief is that that is when your work will stand out among your peers. And that is how people make lasting names, names that are cherished, names that are remembered even when they are gone. Skill development, being good with what you have selected or chosen to do. So if it's governance and political leadership, you become a seasoned politician. If it's between business and entrepreneurship, you are a shrewd businessman or businesswoman. If yours is about education, you are there because you learned how things work within that structure and that frame. Now, what that means is this passion needs to be identified as early as possible so that you can hone these skills. Now, in most practical terms, you can be hopeful in some of these spheres. You can be very determined within some of these spheres. But one of the things that is clear enough is that hope has its place, but hope is not a strategy. Another thing that is important that you know is that on this journey, determination is also very important and key. But determination is not a factor of production. It by itself alone at sundry points does not produce results. There are some critical tangents. You need to know what you are doing. You need to know what you are doing, exactly what you are doing. You need to know that if you put A here, A will give B results. Given all friction and others, there's the tendency that output may fall, but these are the likely outcomes because you know exactly what you are doing. So the Youth Empowerment Consortium then runs programs within these pillars and then give young people the opportunity to play roles. What do? We pick a structure or a pillar, and then we mimic existing institutions within these structures, and then give young people the opportunity to play roles within these pillars. Now, these opportunities are given in line with their passion. The person has to be interested within that zone. So if you're on this conference call and you have nothing to do with governance and political leadership, then you have come to the wrong place. You have to be a political animal somehow to actually succeed and make waves in the structures of governance and political leadership. So when you take a YEC governance program, to which you are a member of currently, it is for young people who are passionate, young people who wants to go into governance or currently are even engaging within governance. That is what the Youth Model Parliament or the Youth Governance Program is for. If you want to become a preacher man, then practically this place or the Youth Model Parliament and its frames is not for you. If all you want to do is become a teacher for you, this is for young people who wants to go into governance, who are interested genuinely in politics, to be here. Okay, I'm taking my time to reiterate that because we need people that we can think with on the same level before we can push the agenda of raising a new crop of generational leaders who will be known for their responsibilities in action, their integrity in character, their compassion in outlook, and excellence in programs and projects execution. So take note of that. So YEC as an organization has registered as YEC Group Initiatives, then runs these programs. You then come in, you pick a role, and then you engage it practically. So your case is not as you go through processes, you get into governance, you go to parliament, you don't even know how to stand on your feet and address issues. You don't know how to move motion. There's nothing you know. You need to now go and start from that place. You have to know what to do from here. And that is what we have been doing. Now, someone would ask the question, why models? Why create mock programs? Now, you realize that events build belief. And when I say events build belief, what I mean is when you attend summits, when you go for some of these engagements out there, it builds belief because you will see people doing some of the things you wish to do. And out of that, there is the tendency you will pick the energy and be able to run with it for some time. But now here is the challenge with it. Depending on where you are coming from, depending on the home you are coming from, someone will sit in a summit full of motivational speakers. And right during the meeting, will make up his or her mind that when I step foot here out of this place, I am going to change my life. Again, depending on where you are coming from, I resolve to build a house for my mom. I need to change this family that I came to meet and all of that. However, for some, the energy dies right in the room. So as the person is just with the process of making up the mind, maybe he took 200 Ghana from Kwaku before coming for that meeting. So I seated there, Kwaku would test him, my guy, when are you sending me my money back? And then all of a sudden, the energy dies right there. People are hit with a whole lot of things. And then it becomes a cycle of attending events and practically not using it. So we decided that if that is the case, we will put structures and then put young people together for at least, let's say, a year. Then they go through these practical engagements to be able to learn around the things that they are passionate about. And that is what brought us to this particular point. Also, before I come back to the structures, now the Youth Empowerment Consortium as a formal organization have two sets of leaders. We have the operational or the administrative leadership, which the General Secretary leads it. So let me say three. So we have the operational and the administrative leadership that the General Secretary leads it. And we also have what we call vision bearers that forms the board with a patron, Nana Kwame Obeng, the chief of Sefwi Obemem, think he was in our meeting last 2022. Congress last year, he couldn't come. The daughter came. So that is the structure. Now, aside the General Secretary, we have the Director of Programs, Mr. Joseph Boachiajimai. Aside him, we have the Director for Finance and Administration, that is Honorable Raphael Kumaku. We also have the one for the Head of Event. We have the one for Women-led Campaigns, Hannah. There is also directors for the centers we are creating. So that is one set of the leaders. Then we have the other set that forms the vision bearers of the board. And when you put that out, when you now flip it also, when you come to the structures of YMP, which I'll go later, you also find the leadership of the programs. The leadership of the programs. So that is how the organization is run administratively. So that is it with that. Now, as I mentioned concerning our mission, is to raise value-based, no excuse leaders of responsibility, integrity, compassion, and excellence. That these will be youth who will be known for their responsibilities in action. I keep on repeating the word action, responsibilities in action, their integrity in character, their compassion in outlook, and excellence in programs and projects execution. From the consortium, what we believe is that the entire African continent is not that we don't know what to do. That is not our problem. Our problem is not about what to do. When you sum all the universities we have, the professors we have as a continent, the research works that students have done over the years, you can't convince a very sensible audience that we as a people don't know what to do. That will not fly. What is lacking is the commitment towards the solutions that matter and not the ones that are popular. That is how come we are still here. It's part of the problem. Again, at YEC, our war and our fight is not against an older generation. Generations are not a problem. That is not our belief. Because somehow in 1967, those who were 80 and have been running our continent down were very young people. We were running around disturbing everybody that the older were corrupt. And then we all know what happened when power was transferred to them in the course of time. So what we need, whether old or young, is a man, a group of men and women with a head on their shoulder who are determined enough to do the needful, given all prevailing circumstances. That is the leadership we need, and not someone who is either old or young. So that is it with us. Now, our values are just simple. It's a sense of responsibility, that you live with some sense of responsibility. You live with some sense of integrity. That when you say you will do A, you have to strive to do it. When it comes to the point where you can't, you communicate ahead of time for individuals to capture the reality that ABC cannot be done. Then you come to the point of compassion, and then you come to that of excellence. So the Youth Empowerment Consortium programs are to tackle three things. Tackles the head of the young person that comes here. We call that intellectual development. That this will be a young person who will have capacity to serve between fact and fallacy, who will not be taking things on the face value, who will make time to look for the first in a conversation before drawing conclusions to what he thinks are the possible outcomes. Because somehow the opposite of truth is not necessarily a lie. The opposite of truth is not necessarily a lie. In between are the things that happened that needs to be deciphered. Secondly, the program also tackles the hunt that has to do with skill development, knowing exactly how to perform at the peak of expectations. So we do have project management trainings for you to pick up the skill to even quickly identify problems and then ask questions whether these are problems enough even before you profess possible solutions to. The challenge most youth have had is that we put out projects and programs in communities, and these are not solving problems that are pressing to the people. However, these are problems we feel are problems, and that is not how you get support and help from anywhere. The problem has to be a problem for the people. So that is the hunt. Remember, I said that you have to be determined, but determination on its own is not a factor of production. You have to know what you are doing. So that is it with the hunt. And then we come to the heart that has to do with compassion. Having compassion for the people that you are serving is what will generate some sense of empathy to develop solutions to suit possibly everybody, to suit possibly majority of the people, according to their situation. That is compassion. Now, when you develop one side of it and leave the other, let's say you develop the intellect and leave the heart, you've kind of created the devil himself. Because such a politician will be so clever that he will explain himself and he will get away with every single argument. He will win it. So it has to be holistic, the hand, the head, and the heart. And that is a whole human being who is ready to make impact the right way. So that is our focus with the programs that we do. As I mentioned on the leadership of YEC, we have the structures and all. Now, just as I mentioned, the most prominent of the programs currently have to do with the YEC governance program. Has to do with the YEC governance program. So the YEC governance program have the part that has to do with the youth model parliament, which is modeled on the Parliament of Ghana with a lot of adjustments so that it can run. Modeled on the Parliament of Ghana so that it can run. So the YEC governance program also comprises of the youth model cabinet, the diplomat model, and then we also have MMDCs, and then others for special interest, right? Now, this, as I mentioned, is for young people who wants to go into governance tomorrow. So if I say governance, it's not just about being a constituency rep. The district chief executive is there, the health director is there. Currently, these are all becoming politically motivated positions, or they have always been politically motivated positions, just as you may know. There are a whole lot of these. We believe that if you start early, that is when you will be able to actually build into what party you belong to, and then be able to make your way through it. Now, politics, let me define that. Politics, defined practically, is the competition of ideas towards development. So politics is the competition of ideas that is within the structures of governance and political leadership. Politics is the competition of ideas towards national development. Now, by this very definition, every single individual you meet practically is a politician. There are politics in church. There are politics in schools. There are politics in families. There are politics within our daily lives. So practically everyone is a politician. Now, there is also the argument that politicians are liars and they are corrupt. That cannot be true because nothing made is actually 100%. So if that is the case, then it's possibly the politician that you know. Again, when someone is doing a thing, you should give the thing the name of the thing. So if someone is lying, the name of what the person is doing is lies, not politics. If someone is being dishonest, what the person is doing, this is a dishonest act. Also, someone will argue that all the political parties are not serious, they are all the same, and all the people in there. That also cannot be true. Within the parties, there are still individuals that are very distinct, that are doing what they went to the offices that they were entrusted with to do for their people or for the nation. They are doing their job. As for their excesses, it's up to them. But their job, they are doing it. The needful, they are doing it. Now, I'm saying all of these things to say this, that if you are staying out and you're not part of the active politics of the day, and you still have dreams and goals of becoming a government official, then practically you need to forget it. Because by design within the structures of governance and political leadership, when parties come to office, they look for about just 3 sets of people. People who they know, who supported the campaign process, maybe with their time. That is 1. 2, people they know who were very available with the process. 3, people who possibly speaks for the party. So the point then is, you will not just be there and all of a sudden one day you wake up and you are an MP of Odododio constituency. You are the Minister of Education. They've named you Minister of Education. You don't even know how come. Just because maybe you are very good with your craft. That does not happen. You will be the best candidate for anything, and you will still not be the person to do it. Because you don't belong. Because politics practically is alliance. So you will have to choose your heart. Look through which one best suits you, which party's ideologies falls with you, and then possibly align. Then when you get in there, you are also expected to look for those doing the right thing, to serve as mentors, either by connecting directly or even from afar. How do you do that? You do that by service. Polling station secretary, what, they are sweeping this place, you are there. They have to know you. But there is one error that I have been speaking about from 2020 to today. There's one huge error. There is Kwaku Menu. Kwaku Menu is from Abra Sebu Kwamankese. Now, when you get to Abra Dunkwao and you mention the NDC's office, that you are looking for the NDC's office, they will take you to Kwaku Menu's house. And then later, Kwaku Menu will work with you, getting closer to the office, he will point and then you go there alone. Now, everybody within the constituency and the place knows Kwaku Menu. However, when you get to the party's office and you mention Kwaku Menu's name, they don't even know where he's coming from. Now, that's an error. If you are on this particular conference call this evening, and you will not take anything at all from You will not take anything at all from this particular meeting. Then you should take that, because people like Kwaku Menu at age 60, 70 lives very miserable lives. The point is, our politics is so vindictive that we don't forgive. And then once you identify with one side also, you are seen as belonging to a faction. That is it for you. That's the end. So Kwaku Menu within the constituency wins arguments every day. Unless you don't raise it. Once you raise it, Kwaku Menu will win the argument right now. So you are supposed to be seen in there. As for the insult, people will insult you. It's part of it. Now I'm saying this to land that if you see a politician that is currently serving or as an active politician in our nation, there is a track record of the person. When you look at the person, you will know he started from this place for this very period of time. So yours will not just happen out of the blue. You will not just wake up and because you are passionate, because you are handsome, because you are beautiful. It's not going to happen. So if you take anything from this conversation, your energy from now on, if politics is what you say you want to do as part of your craft and the rest, it has to be directed towards the things that matter. Not the usual food soldier stuff on Facebook and social media, the things that matter within the confines of the framework. And then secondly, and I bring this whole politics stuff to an end. Secondly, you have to determine which part of it you want to be. It's not all about going to parliament. Governance is not all about being a DCE. Governance is not all about being the health director and the rest, or become the president. So you need to identify which one interests you, because the play field are different. If your focus is on being to parliament, then definitely you have to be active within your constituency. You can't sit in Accra and be writing theses on Facebook and Twitter, and you will type and defend stuffs in WhatsApp groups that your constituents are not there. You will type and be sweating in the morning, then when you finish, you shake your hands. Say, as for today, I've contributed to national development. My constituents will be very proud of me. If you go for elections, you chop last. You can chop last forever. And when you chop last, we will laugh at you. The people that will vote for you to go to that parliament, they are in that constituency. As we speak, maybe they are even in JHS or primary. So that play field for you. It's not out there shouting at places where the people that will vote for you are not. Your focus have to be within that constituency, but they are the ones who are going to vote. The same applies to DCE and the rest. That is where your focus should be. Primarily, that is it. Then, if it interests you that you would want to be a minister of state and the rest, with that also, we call something niche or niche when it comes to almost every business or every engagement. That is a sector, and then you master that. So again, you can't also be firing everywhere. There has to be focus. What are you good at? Is it energy? Is it agriculture? Is it diplomacy? Is it trade? Is it what else? A lot of that. Then your master's degree. So you are not eyeing the minister of agric or a position within that framework. And then you'll be studying some autobiographic something and be doing your master's around something that does not align. It has to be. You should be able to place it. Then within that same framework, when the party need people to address or to draft documents and stuff in the frame within where you think your focus is, you should be able to have worked your way among the people they will want to call. So even if you look at it this way, then the things you share on your socials, your Facebook pages and the rest are supposed to align. You can't want to be Ghana's foreign minister and you are 28 and you've not been to any of these IMUs. You don't talk about diplomacy, you don't talk about anything. All you share are who have cut a mess head in Obobobom village. Then you just share it with the blood. That is not how it works. So it goes deeper. It goes deeper than merely just wanting it. And then again, you also need to have your trade. You need to have your job or your trade that you are with. But there's money in there that will be tempting. So if you don't have a career, that is where the whole problem starts from. So these are the things you need to know so that you can take what you have come to do at YEC serious. And then you sit down and ask yourself, if I want to be an MP, I'm 25 years old. Even within the constituency, what are the history of the voting like? What exactly do people look for? Am I likable? That will inform your community drive. How do you do that? Maybe you set up a foundation, or maybe you set up Kasiwa's community initiative. You find some small logo. It's not supposed to be a logo that will cost you 3,000 cedis. Then maybe you once in a year or twice a year, you put some few exercise books, pens and stuff together. You get a backdrop. You write to the schools. They allow you. You come and talk to the children. You donate. You stand at where the place is nice. And then when you go, you don't stand at where there is bush. And then you take picture and with the bush and everything. That is what you are posting. You present your best self. You take it nicely. You share it. You talk to these children. These are the people that will be dragging old men and women out of their rooms to vote in about 4-5 elections time. And they will be voting too. So you need to know the details of what you've come to do, the details of what you want. Ask yourself very well, do you want it? And then if you want it, you have to commit to it. Finally, within this very structure, you can't be on and off and make it through governance. You are supposed to be mechanical. If I say mechanical, whether rain or shine, you are in. Because if not, then the news is that those that will go to parliament tomorrow are those ones following the MPs and carrying their bags, who you sometimes laugh at. Or sorry, what Tony Kaftan, shiny, or shiny shoe in the brown shoe are polishing when it's shining. When you see that person, you possibly will laugh at the person. These are the people, but every day they are very consistent. So that is how it works. So if you are the kind that today you are hot, tomorrow you are cold, you go and hide. 1 week you come and shout small. Then another 3 days you vanish for like 2 weeks, 3 months. They can't. Then you come and shout and jump. Then you go again. You don't need that kind of trait, character trait. So you need to develop consistency and not intensity. Consistency. That is what beats and then penetrate through this frame. So be very mindful going forward from here. Be very mindful going forward from here. Now, so we run the Youth Model Parliament program. As I indicated, that the Youth Model Parliament program is modeled on that of the Parliament of Ghana with a lot of adjustments. As a model, there are so many things we are not privileged or we don't have. So a lot of adjustment exists. In our parliament, the composition is made up of people representing constituencies, people representing districts. We have diplomats in-house, then we have ministers and ambassadors and the rest as well. Now we call all of them YMPs. They are all members of Youth Model Parliament. When it comes to debate and committees and the rest, they are all part of it. There's no differentiation that you are not this, so you are minister, so this is it. No, they are all part of the engagements, the settings, and everything that we do. The names is for you to be able to differentiate who represents what and the rest. The purpose of the house is for leadership development training only. So note that the composition varies and rice are the same. If we need to give anything out, everyone gets the same thing. We don't limit Sam's own because, oh, you are an MDC or you're a DC, and for that matter, you are not entitled to A, B, C, D, F, G, H. That is not what we do. So take note of the composition of the House. Take note of the composition of Youth Model Parliament. Again, the purpose of Youth Model Parliament is for leaders. Now, I am repeating this over and over and over and over for you to get the right definition of what we are doing. In the past, Parliament have called us to order so many times. The Ministry for Information and Communication, I think in 2021, when Fix the Country was at its peak, called us into several meetings to understand exactly what we are doing. Because people carry themselves as if it is a counter parliament to the Parliament of Ghana, and we can't have that by legally. So let that sink in. Your explanations of what Youth Model Parliament is must cover the reality that this is a model parliament for leadership development. Please take note of that, and that should be on your fingertips. Now again, we then go to the structure of Youth Model Parliament. Now, when you then go into Youth Model Parliament, just as the Parliament of Ghana have its structure, where we have the Speaker, the First Deputy, and then the Second Deputy, Youth Model Parliament also have the same structure. Now, the House, just as Parliament, have it divided into two caucuses, major caucuses, the Minority Caucus and the Majority Caucus. The Youth Model Parliament program is also divided into two caucuses. That is the Majority Caucus and the Minority Caucus. Now, these divisions are not done on political party lines. The standing orders of the House dictate that these are done randomly, either by the clerk or the secretary or an officer of YEC. So your placements are done on random basis. It's not based on the party you are affiliated to. So if you look at the placements were done on random basis. It's not based on your political affiliations and the rest. So take note of that. That is how the divisions are done. So when we are done with registrations this way, we then do the placements. Then again, the standing orders gives a percentage of about 45 for minority, 55% for majority. That is how we do it. And then when we are done dividing the House into two, at that point when the House is divided into two, there wouldn't be a Speaker of the House. There is no Speaker. There's no Deputy Speaker. There's no Second Deputy Speaker. There's no Majority Leader. There's no Minority Leader. There is no Chief Whip anywhere. So now that the House is then divided into two caucuses, we then open nominations for the positions of the caucus leaders first. So the entire Majority Caucus will need to have a Majority Leader, a Deputy Majority Leader, the Majority Chief Whip, the First Deputy Whip, and the Second Deputy Whip. We open that nominations. That we put a simple form out, and then people within the caucus will then nominate themselves, that is by filling it, or nominate someone else by filling it for the person and getting the person's consent. The clerk and YEC then picks the details. And then if we have more people for each of them, we then vet them and then put out the best candidates. So in the situation where we have two people that are best, the caucus goes to vote for who they want. And then they then have their leadership. Now, when we are going through this particular exercise, what we look for as an organization running a program that wants it to be sustainable, what we look for the sake of leadership, and just as it's done in the national parliament where it is those that knows their way around that are usually given these leadership roles. Here also, preference is usually given to individuals that are either have been in-house for some time and know their way around, or you were part of a model parliament out there somewhere that you can prove. So if the majority leader knows exactly what goes into moving motions and the rest. If this is your first encounter with model parliaments, you can stay in-house and learn throughout the program year. Make sure you are vocal, your colleagues know you, and then in another phase of it, you also have what it takes and the opportunity to also be well considered within that. Now, the idea is that we will not have enough time to babysit the majority leader. A majority leader that doesn't know how to move motion. Meanwhile, there is an individual in the house that knows it. That won't work best. So that is it with the leadership of the caucuses. So if they open it, much of what you should look out for is we look out for those that have some knowledge, practical ones. Maybe you were part of student leadership parliament or student parliament and the rest during university. They will vet you and then put the list out. And then now when the caucuses have leaders, the standing orders again dictates that the caucuses will do their nominations. So the caucus leaders will meet and decide on what they are doing or what they are going with. So if they decide that the minority will bring their candidate, so the minority consult itself on their page, they can have a meeting and decide that, okay, we'll open it. They should, whoever is interested in being the speaker nominee for our caucus should send a name to, let's say, the majority or the minority whip. They compile their list, they look at it, they vet them, or possibly present the names also still to YEC. We look at it, and then if they need to even vote themselves, the same. And then they present one person each. Ideally, present one person each. And then the entire house then vote who the speaker of the house will be. So after that election, that is it. We then have a speaker. So if the speaker is from the minority caucus, the first deputy will come from the majority caucus. That does not need elections again. They just present as their candidate or their deputy. And then the next person comes from the minority caucus, vice versa. That is how we arrive at leadership. We also have committee leaders, ranking chairs and deputies and the rest. That is also open to members of the platform as well. But that is usually done after inauguration has been done and you've been sworn in accordingly. So that is it with the leadership structures of parliament here. Now, aside that, for that of the youth model cabinet, where we have the ministers, YEC appoints the president from time to time, together with the vice and then the chief of staff. Then, when that is set, which we currently have from last year coming, they will then bring the ministers they would want to work with within a program year. And that positions is opened in-house. So we don't go and put it out and look for new people. It is those we've already recruited. Then you also apply. That one, it is the same presidency with maybe someone from the majority, the minority, and then YEC takes them through a short vetting. And then approvals are done. And then they become that to support the house in its activities and deliberations. So that is it with ministers, leadership, positions, and the rest. As for clerk is an administrative position. Within a specific program year, we have mock parliamentary sittings. So aside the face-to-face that you have, there are mock parliamentary sittings that comprises of debates and the rest. We have committee sessions, so the speaker allocates tasks to committees. Then you go do research, come to the floor, present, and the rest. Sometimes invite ministers to the house and the rest. Then we also have the ministers' breath of parliament, YMP's breath of parliament. So if something is happening in the, let's say, Kwadaso constituency, the YMP could be invited to, the YMP could be invited to brief the house on what is happening. There is also bills readings and sponsorships. And then aside that, we also have soft skills. The NGO development trainings sometimes, the trainings on leadership development, the trainings on communication and personal branding and the rest all falls in as part of the activities of the house within a program year. So some are done face-to-face, others are also done on virtual grounds. Then the issues of community projects. Remember I said that the basic mention of what Youth Model Parliament is that YMP is for leadership development purposes and trainings. Now, if an individual wants to embark on community projects, the person have to be very passionate about that development to be able to do that. So you are at liberty to embark on community project, to do anything else within your community. What we suggest is that you don't just do the project for doing sake. If you have an agenda, if you are doing this with the hopes of becoming a servant of that community or constituency or district tomorrow, then what you do is you attach something to your name, maybe Edward Marfus Community Initiatives, Edward Marfus Community Drive. So if it's about education, you go to schools. If it's about climate change, if it's about what, you need a name. So if you do flyers and the rest, the Office of the Youth Member of Parliament at Youth Model Parliament for this in collaboration with Kwaku Menu's Communities Initiatives, then you do it that way. However, these community projects, you have to want to do it to even start publishing and talking about it. It is very difficult because of resources, one, seeking permissions, two, so you have to really want it before you even consider. Previously, we made it compulsory, you have to do project, blah, 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 blah. But we took it off. Then again, we also don't have what it takes to buy books and the rest and give it to individuals to just go and donate. So if you would want to embark on community projects, it has to be something you really want to do. Really want to do. So take note of community project part of this whole conversation. Then, what are the timelines within a program year? Your program is 12 months. Currently, what we are doing is we are resetting the year timetable and structure in such a way that within a specific program year, we can run the program. As of when the program is ending, that night will be the night when we will induct the new house. So ideally, Congress is supposed to have been the first meeting. So you come in on Thursday, you sleep, Friday we have an engagement, Saturday we have engagement, and then you can go back on Sunday. That should be the first meeting. But this year we don't have it like that. So it's 12 months starting in May. Inauguration is in May. So the program will end in May of next year. When you are passing out, that will be the time when others will be coming in. Provided you will still stay, then it will still the same thing. So activities goes virtual until Congress in August. So after your inauguration, much of what we'll be doing will be on virtual grounds. Put committees together, virtual settings, and the rest. However, and the rest. And then Congress will be maximum to be communicated after the inauguration. And there's also a likely end of year in November. And then the last meeting, as I mentioned, will be in May of 2026. The months and then the days may change because of the calendar for schools and the rest. So when we are done, then with the first inauguration that we need to do in May, what then would you be doing? Ideally, as you are done, you have your nice pictures, you already have your confirmation letters, so it's not even needed. You have your ID cards and the rest. The first thing to do, usually, are courtesy calls. So maybe you know one big man within the constituency that you are representing, provided you live there, whether pastor, whether DC, whether political party, executive, or anything. You call on the courtesy calls. So we will be giving letterheads later. That is when we are done with the inauguration. You will have your YMP specific letterhead with the logos there, and then written Office of the Youth Member of Parliament for, or Office of the YMP this and that. You can use that to be writing letters for all your official stuff. So the first activity is the courtesy call. So you go, you take nice pictures, you share it on your own timelines, you send out some, we also post for you. That is courtesy calls by members. Then secondly, so this also includes those that would want to do media engagements. When we were done with the voting for a group, someone was interested in doing a media tour. So I told the person to pause, because most of the questions you may be asked, you might not have the right answers. So pause. You can also do media if you have. If you come also, you can take a very nice picture. And if you have some of these bloggers, they can write around it for you with your name that you'll be sworn in as this and that. All of these things help to eliminate the brand you are building. So take note of that. Now, we then look at the items and souvenirs that we need to give you. The earlier conversations around the program fees was centered around your membership, the member branded YMP t-shirt. That is one. There's also a member branded YMP sash with your name and your portfolio. That is district or constituency in it. You also will be giving your member ID card. The member letterhead will come after the swearing in, the soft copies, into your emails. And then when you are done with the program also, your participant certificates and all of that. Now remember that before the voting started, we had meals, that is lunch for 6 meetings as part of the fees. But we had to remove it so that the voting wouldn't be that stressful for people. We believe that on the Legon campus where you have the inauguration, for instance, night market is not that far from the political science department. So on a break of about 1 hour break, individuals can talk campus and go and get something to eat and come back. So we took the meal arrangement off from the feast. Also, it does not include the cost of transportation. That was also on the forms. And accommodation as well. So take note of these things that it does not include. Now, when I took a good look at the data from the voting we did, it is quite clear, it appears to me that if we had even included most of these cost components into it, a higher percentage of our people would still have gotten it. And that would have taken the drudgery out of some of these things. Now I'm saying this with a background that the refunds I have done and the ones I have to do for those in group 3 is very huge. I think for group 3 alone, the ones I have to do that I have not done yet, possibly on Monday, will be about 12,000 cedis for individuals because they got more than the. So that is it with what your fee covers. So all these things, you pick them up during the inauguration. They're almost done with the sash. The IDs will be done and printed, and then the t-shirt. And then when you come, you can pick your items up. Now, let's look at a few things that might be problems that needs to be addressed. Now, in your confirmation letter, you saw that we are not politically affiliated and the rest. Now, the mention is not to you, the individual. You can do your politics everywhere. You can join your political party. The Youth Empowerment Consortium, YEC, is not politically affiliated. We don't have any political godfather anywhere. We don't do any political parties bid as well. The idea is that we are doing what we are doing because we do politics with everything and we don't forgive either. If you go and poke your nose and they come and support you once with 10,000, the other party knows this party supported you, that is your end. That has killed so many youth groups. So for us, we stay in the middle, we do our job, and then you, the member, you can belong to your political party of your choice. It's up to you. You have that liberty. What we ask is that when you are pushing agenda at the floor of the house, you have to be decorous enough to present facts, not the usual pedestrian politics out there. Then again, YMP is not a counter parliament to the Parliament of Ghana. I repeat, it is not a counter parliament to the Parliament of Ghana. So you and your MP, you are not competing. You and the DCE, you are not competing. This is for leadership development, and that is the underlying word. Then again, we are not a pressure group that everything that happens politically, we have to go and say something. We need to issue communique, we need to do publications. We need to be talking about the government doing this and the government doing that. To a large extent, the government knows what it has to do. And most people, my teacher will say that governments don't come to office to solve your problems. Government comes to office to solve their problems. So it is their problem they come to solve. And the rest. I always say that until you have seen someone through the political cycle twice, you should be careful the kind of alliance you draw with the person. Okay. And pressure groups and all of these things, they have their place within politics. Okay, they have their place. I think maybe time won't allow us, but they have their place. But there are about just 3 sets of people in every nation. You have the masses, they don't have power. They that card. There isn't. There is also the people that, those that are powerful, those that break power, appoint and reveal. These are party executives, pastors, heads of CEOs, CSOs, and then there are the real people that break power. So to encourage someone to rather just have party a voter card, you should encourage the person to be part of political party administration, which we are saying now. Because by the time the 2 options or the 2 credible, reliable options to have won elections emerge, the public ceases to have any option or a choice. If you are presented with a person from the NDC, a person from the MPP, you don't like them, but these are the 2 people that are like, you either decide not to vote or you go and vote for one. In that case, so if the 2 are not good, it means you have to choose from 2 bad people. One of 2 bad people. It's another conversation, it's a symposium discussion. So you need to understand that we are not a pressure group. We don't mingle ourselves with those things. Now, members don't pay monthly dues here. So from day one, we have not paid monthly dues on the YMP program. We haven't. Usually what we used to do earlier was that when it's about time for Congress, we then begin to put contributions together for people that are coming. That is what we solved with this particular voting activity. So we don't pay monthly dues. And then YEC as an organization don't pay allowances to any of our participants as well. So these are the few things that you should take and keep with you. That you should take and then keep with you. Now, for attitudes and mindset, let me quickly hit on that and then I'll be bringing my presentation to an end. Now, you've come to do a very new thing. For most of you, you'll be very excited. Okay? But the excitement have a lifespan. What we have seen, what we were taught before we came to do what we do practically. Excitement of any kind of this, any one of these actually have a lifespan of about 90 days maximum. It's just like, let me use an analogy. It's just like Kwaku goes to propose to Ama, or Ama goes to propose to Kwaku. Now, initially, Kwaku or Ama will be doing that guy. Oh, we'll have the doubt and all of that, and wouldn't really be opening up, and the rest will do as if maybe Kwaku will keep on pushing, or Ama will keep on going and coming back, keep on pushing, going and coming back, keep on pushing. And then the resistance barrier will be broken. Now, once the resistance barrier is broken and then the acceptance is made, the next phase of it, we call it excitement. The next phase of it, we call it what? Excitement. Now, that next phase of it is what you wake up and you sleep and wake up, and then you see Kwaku on Ame's status. People, they'll be pumping heart. When this one posts on Facebook, this one will comment and be throwing flowers and heart and the rest all around. Now, these are excitement. Within that space of about maximum 30 days, that is where a lot of people do a lot of funny stuff. It's like that almost with everything. When you find stuff like that, the excitement is there. But you see, the realities of this life also hits sometimes. And then the energies begin to dwindle. And it falls and falls and falls and falls and falls. You call somewhere, I have graphs I couldn't bring. The least point. Now, at the least point, that is where people have to decide that this thing has some form of value, or this relationship has some form of value. So I'm still going to stay in and then build it up. And then they rise through it again. It is like that with what you have come to do. Some of you will be very excited from the beginning. You wake up and you put the YMP banner, YMP for life on your status. Maybe for 90 days, and then later we will struggle to see you. Some too will warm up into it little by little and then rise even through the ranks. That is the nature of almost everything. So you need to be mindful of your energies, and you need to be mindful of your engagements. At least the WhatsApp platforms remains our official platforms for communication. So maximum in a 3-day period, you should check in. You should check in on the platform. You should check in on the platform. Finally, there is this that I came across when I was sending you a lot of messages. Maybe when we send you a letter, I'll send you a message. When we are done with your flyer, I'll send you a message. Now, I might not say anything, but we will be appointing or getting leaders for the house. They may need some information. They may send you some messages. And if you don't speak to it, you may do it to them. And it will be an attitude. Someone will wake up and then take you off. Now, when you have something to do with someone officially, and the person sends you a message, either email or even on WhatsApp, or the person calls you but you miss the calls, courtesy, simple courtesy, demands that you acknowledge receipt of the message. Like, simple word, maybe seen, noted, all right, I will cross-check and revert. Even if it's email and it's not a spam, you don't just go and read and leave. So you send a message, the person will just come and look at it and leave. And if the individual needs to work on something, realize the person has not done it. So you need to come back and ask the person, have you done this before? Maybe 3-4 days are gone. At my end, I will have patience to keep up with you. Somebody will not. Some of the caucus leaders, you'll be electing and appointing, might not have that level of patience. So please, not just here, wherever you will find yourself, acknowledge messages. You may not be feeling all right as you pumped up and the rest and things are not right. It happens to everybody. You don't need to feel right to say, okay, noted and the rest. Take note of that. It's a very bad thing. It's a very bad attitude, nothing. So that is it with what we do. And the details are here and all of that. So without much ado, the first part of our orientation, I think, will end today at this point. The next one, I think, will be on Thursday, will be about parliamentary business. And when you are done with that, that is when we will open for the position of the caucus leaders. This time around, speakership will be elected face-to-face when we meet. Then because of that also, we might not have so many guests coming to address the occasion because of that particular activity. So honorable members, I am done with my presentation today. And this is what we are going to do. If you have a follow-up question, you can then raise up your hand, and then you can mute your microphone. You can unmute your microphone and ask your question accordingly. So when you raise up your hand, I will call you, and then you can then ask your question. Please be straight, go straight to the point. Go straight to the point with the question. Go straight to the point with the question. Thank you very much. All right. Honorable Norbert, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to ask this question. And please, what I want to know is about the ministerial positions or appointment.
Okay.
I want to know whether the ministerial appointment is going to be within we the members in the Youth Model Parliament, or someone outside the Youth Model Parliament can also get, the appointment. Thank you.
Okay, so let me answer that and then I take the next person. All right, so what I indicated earlier on was that it's going to be among the members. It's not going to go out to be in-house. So when the president then puts the list out, we will publish it, and then you will publish it, and then once you publish it, you can apply accordingly. You can apply and go through the second part of that process. So it's not going to be open to those outside. It's not going to be open to those outside. Honorable Mahami Abdullahi Tikuma, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. Honorable Tikuma, Obeda Samoa, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Thank you for the opportunity. This might be my first time, and then I'd like to know, it's a novice question actually. I'd like to know how well known are we parliament-wise, in a sense that if I am to have the opportunity to meet, let's say, my MP, and then I mentioned that I am from Youth Model Parliament or Youth YEC. I mean, how well known are we for him or her to be able to recognize the organization?
Okay, so Obed is asking whether we are recognized. So yes, we are recognized. But since Parliament change MPs almost every 4 years, that is also another challenge. So what you usually do is that you go with a letter of introduction that speaks about a letter of introduction that speaks about what the program is about, your role in it, and then what you are doing now. You go with that, you go with your ID and the rest. So that is what we usually use for introductions. But as in if the possibility of the MP knowing, that is a bit low. That is a bit low. As for Parliament itself, yes, because in 2022, we had an invite of the Public Affairs Director. We've been sending letters in also to be able to go in there. So possibly this year, we will visit Parliament as a group. So for Parliament itself, yes, they know. But for individual MPs, the introduction will have to be made. So that is it with that for now.
Thank you.
Honorable Kaiser, your hand is up. Kaiser Ralph.
Yeah, GS. Thank you. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity and then the presentation. I would just like to say this platform has opened doors for a lot of us. And then if these nuggets you are throwing out are taken seriously, people will excel and then will become astute people in society. 2 questions. In your presentation, I didn't hear anything about the conduct of an MP, given that you mentioned those who can engage in community projects, those who would like to run their own NGOs and all that. Now, beyond that, can someone just be a member of parliament and just be there? What will constitute someone losing their position as MPs, or once they've been accepted onto the program until their tenure expires, they can be on? Then the second one would be, since our mode of dressing for parliament is usually official, I want to ask whether you are looking beyond the t-shirt and other things. So will you consider maybe YMP ties, lapel pins, things that we can add to our dressing, and then it will complement us along beyond just the t-shirts and then the stickers? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So our top intern, I think programs is not here today. So so this is it. For that of our conduct, participation is very important. I think we are about 160 or so. We had at peak, we were about 110. So already the new person is missing virtual engagements. And the new person is missing virtual engagements. And that is very funny. Now, you are not permitted to mix 3 consecutive meetings without seeking permission from anywhere. The day you arrive at that, the next thing you see is removed from every platform. So we take participation very serious. It's not one of those passive places where you are just part of it because you are part of it and you've gotten in. So take that serious. And I think most of it was mentioned in their confirmation letters. So that is also the reason why I didn't mention it again. That is why I didn't mention it again. Because the point is, we will do our part. The meetings, we'll put it together. All of these things, we are going to do it. You get it? Most of it depends on you. So that is it with that. So I think this year, we are getting the ID, we are getting the t-shirt, and then the sash. We will consider the lapel and the rest that you spoke about. And then maybe in the future, we'll think about the cloth. A nice YMP logos in branded cloth for us. Now, official dressing for meetings is official, like normal official. You can be in your African wear nicely. However, no chalewati. There's some sandals, they call it Moses. When you wear that and we take group pictures, we can't even post. So you dress well. You don't necessarily need to go and break the bank and buy suit and all of that. No. But you need to come across as very official. Very, very, very official. That is it with our dress code and the rest. All right. Honorable Salamatu, your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for that insightful presentation. Our GS never disappoints. Though some of my questions were captured in our top intense question, but I'll just leave the question and then come in with a suggestion. Okay. Yes, please. You know, most of us are coming from outside the city. Though you've suggested a place where we can get food or like something to take care of our food and feeding when we come for inauguration. But I wanted to appeal on behalf of myself and some members who might be interested, so that we can see if the feeding can be arranged on our behalf, so that it will be uniform. And like maybe someone can step out and then while there is a program in session, and then the excuse to be like, oh, I went to get food or something. Like it will kind of interrupt activity. No, I'm making a suggestion, so that's why I wanted to just mention so that we can make it uniform to prevent interruptions in our schedule. Thank you.
Okay, if I got you right, is it the meal arrangement or that of the accommodation for those coming from afar? Honorable Agbalanyo Freeman, kindly mute your microphone. Honorable Salamatu, kindly come again. Is it the meal arrangement you are suggesting?
Yes, the meal, because with the accommodation, I'm sure by the time we come for inauguration, we should have some representatives who can man the affairs of widows coming from the other regions to work on the accommodation. So with the meal arrangement.
All right. So with the meal arrangement, previously, when we are going for meetings, that is when we do collections. Well, before the voting, we tried to add it to the cost, but we realized it might distract some people. Even though the data from the voting suggests we should have left it. So with that, into last November, I think it was a 45 cedis per head or so for the lunch. So we will see if we can do the same kind of arrangement and do contributions towards that. And again, it's not compulsory if you want to eat. If you know your way around Legon very well also, that is fine. You can always get to night market and get something to eat. So we can do that. Now, with accommodation also, that is if only you need it. If you can do an arrangement and come from home, you are supposed to do it that way. Don't force yourself and come and sleep on campus or the rest. So with accommodation also, we have Vikings. I think last 2022, we slept there for Congress. So this year also for your meeting, that is where we've been able to get a place. So going into next week, we will start putting the data together so that we can send them a letter for them to give us invoice. Now, when I went there, what they said was that a room for 2 people goes for 150 cedis, so it's 75 per head for a day. So if you're coming from afar, you can get in possibly on the Friday night and then sleep. Or if you can still get to Accra on Saturday morning, you can still do it that way. When we are done, then you go and lodge. So if it is 2 in a room, then that means it's 75 cedis. However, they will not also take the money when you arrive. So we'll put a number out. If you are interested, you reach out to the person. And then the person will begin the collection whilst you go for the invoice and then do the payments on your behalf. As I said, I wish we had just added all that to the voting stuff because of the data that is at the back office of the voting platforms. So that is it with that. Honorable Ike, the next time, let's use our full names as well for meetings of this kind. Honorable Ike, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. But tell us your full name first.
Hello, good evening, honorable members. My name is Isaac Nate Ashango. Mine is the suggestion. I know that this model, that's why EC is being recognized. So what I'm suggesting is that, like maybe we can seek sponsorship, or maybe the association can seek sponsorship, so that they will be able to use that sponsorship to finance maybe a member's project that maybe a member can take, at least if there's a little money that they can be able to use to help a project. I think that one will be okay. And concerning about the food and accommodation, at least with the help of the sponsorship, we can be able to use that money to cater for those staff. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So when the House is fully constituted, I think a part of the committee that the House will have a sponsorship committee. I believe going forward into Congress, they can work on what you just mentioned. Whoever will become the speaker should also take note of your name, so that when it gets to that point also, they can actually make you a part of the core component of the sponsorship committee, so that you can look for some of these help and some of these support for both projects, as you mentioned, and then meals and accommodation, as you mentioned. It's a good suggestion. The only issue with relying on sponsorship to communicate concrete information is that it fails most times. I'm a marketing professional, and before COVID came, when we design marketing campaigns for groups and organizations, at some point you could have as high as, let's say, 5 million for partnerships, for sponsorships, and the rest. But after COVID, it's all dwindled. Currently, organizations' money goes directly into activities that will lead to the sales of their product. So it's very dicey now looking for sponsorship. And then our name also is also another challenge. When you mention Youth Model Parliament, everyone would want to know whether you are NPP or for NDC. And then when the conversation gets ahead, they begin to withdraw. Because when you say you are neutral, they don't believe it. So that is it with that. So currently, we will stay with the conversations we had from the beginning, right? And then when we are moving and there are avenues for that, we will come and communicate, say. If Parliament put the committee to communicate, say, and then move in that direction. So without any of that, we will just stay with what we have communicated from the start, based on the capacity we can deploy at this point. But it's a good suggestion. Thank you very, very much. There's Honorable with Honorable iPhone. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you, but introduce yourself first. The next time you join with your full name. Umar Mahama, your hand is up. Unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. Umar Mahama, unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Umar Mahama. It's a privilege to be part of is something little, but it has bothered my mind since your speech. During your presentation, you made it clear that Youth Model Parliament isn't affiliated to any political party, which I was very much happy at. And most of us, myself personally, Youth Model Parliament with the ambition that it is an avenue where I can, in fact, realize my full potential and embark on the dream that I am having in mind. And since parliamentarians go to parliament on the ticket of a political party, but they operate as a house. Moreover, if we can't go through members based on maybe looking at their political affiliation, why not the speaker? Because I could remember the last time we were in school, the Speaker of Parliament visited us as youth school model parliament. You know, we have school parliament in the universities. he visited us just to say some little words of encouragement and also to point out some guidelines and steps that we need to take in order to realize the dreams we are having. Could it be an opportunity that you could arrange for such to happen during the Congress we are coming in for, the inauguration and the rest? Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So what we do, I think last year we had some politicians, some past and current MPs, some are even still ministers of state, come to some of our meetings. For this inauguration, that will not be possible. What we are looking at is Congress. That is later in the year. What we have to do again as part of plans is to visit Parliament ourselves. So that is also part of Congress. To go to Parliament as a group, and then meet some of the leaders, go through a conversation and all of that. So that is also in scope. That is in scope. That is in scope. Samuel Minta, unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity given. I have two questions. Now, the first one is you mentioned the fact that committees will be set up and then members would have the chance to join. Now, from the information I have from the national parliament we have, what I know is each member belongs to a particular committee. So the question is, for YMP, is the committee membership going to be based on a certain merit, or by all means a member should find his or her way to join a committee? That's the first question. And then the second one is with regards to our inauguration. Are we allowed to be accompanied by maybe some people, like a friend or a family member or something?
Okay. All right. So let me take the first one. So parliaments are committees, are the speaker's committees. The committees of parliament belongs to the speaker of parliament. We call it the speaker's committees. Okay. It's the speaker that determines most of the committees that needs to be formed, and then the processes to that, although the standing orders captures it. So with this in mind, the YMP committees is also the same. They open applications to the committees, and then you indicate the committee you want to belong to. And then the consideration is made by the leadership of the caucuses, and then they put that set of data together. So it's still the same thing as that of committee placements and selections and the rest. So you are not by forcibly allocated to a committee. You express interest, and then you are allocated to a committee. Now, with the inauguration and accompanying someone coming with you, I will communicate on that, because currently our venue is not that large and we need to be careful with our numbers. There's just about 10 more people who are not done yet. When we now have a final number, you can then communicate on you coming with someone. At peak, it should be just one person. It should be just one person. So that is it with that. That is it with that.
Right. All right. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Honorable Imbochi Silas, your hand is up.
All right. Good evening and thank you very much. Am I audible enough?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So my first question is on the area where you said that we can engage media, but we have to be a bit careful or something. I think I didn't get that well. So if you can elaborate on that.
You said you didn't get what? You didn't get what?
There was an area you said that we can engage media or something like that.
Okay, so what I said was that when you are done with inauguration, the first activity is courtesy calls, where you can call on, let's say, a government official in your district, your constituency, or any big man you know, to introduce yourself that you've gone through this and you are currently this person on this particular training program. Okay, I also said that in case you have friends that will allow you to come to their stations to come and address some issues, you can also do that. Aside that, if you also have blogger friends who have websites that they publish news, when you come to the program, you can take nice picture, you give it to them, they can write about Kwaku so and so, sworn in as youth, this has this and this, write your profile and the rest and then share it. So I mentioned that that is part of the branding process. So that is what I said with that. Are you clear now?
I am clear, but I have a follow-up suggestion.
Okay, I'm listening.
All right, so the suggestion is on our accommodation during the inauguration. So I am
It's on your
thinking
what?
that the accommodation during inauguration.
Okay.
So I am of the view that we should, or the leadership of YEC should find a place, even if it will come at a fee, and then communicate to members, because most of us are from far places and some of us don't even have any relative in Accra. So if you leave it to the discretion of members or to the work of members, I think it's going to be a very tedious work for us.
Okay.
So it's a suggestion. If you can
Oh,
find
no.
it.
So, okay. So I mentioned that is been done, and it's 150 cedis for two in a room for a night or a day. We'll communicate on the page for those that would need it to reach out to someone, and then they will collect the fee and the names and the rest whilst we go for the invoice. And then about a week to the program, we can then go and do the payment. When you come, you just lodge. So with that, you can even come at dawn and then you just lodge. So that is what I said regarding that. Right. Honorable Roger. You said?
I said a quick one, just on that. So from our flyer, the inauguration takes place on 3rd of May, which is on Saturday, right? So you are saying that the accommodation will come at a fee, which is 150 cedis. You are still working on that. So are we to come maybe, let's say Friday, and then a night after that, then we leave, or how is it going to be done? Or 2 days or something like that?
It depends on you. That one depends on the individual. If you want to stay for 2 nights or 3 nights, that depends on you and your capacity. So that
All
one
right.
depends on you. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Honorable Roger, your hand is up. We've lost Roger. Ruben Adiko, your hand is up. Let's be swift with the questions.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Ruben Adiko, YMP for Senate East constituency. I'm very, very privileged to be part of this platform. First of all, let me thank you very much for the insightful presentation. Quick question. I know we are a model parliament of the Republic of Ghana. So I want to ask that our businesses that will be heading in the house as a youth model parliament, is it going to be same to the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana? For instance, when you go to Parliament, they debate on, let's say, Galamsey, to stop Ghana. So are we going to go in that target, or we also have our own business we are going to deal with?
Okay.
So please, that is my question.
All right. So is you will have your own business to deal with. So the Youth Model Parliament will also have a committee called the Business Committee, that I think the majority leader is the chairperson of that committee. They will plan on the debates and the topics and the rest that you'll be doing. Right. So if debates on Galamsey, whatever, relevant subjects for you to debate on, then you also consider not just debates. Committees will also have some engagements to do. Some time along the line, the president will also come to the floor, and then the rest. So that is it. So you will have yours. You wouldn't follow that of Parliament verbatim as it is.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Honorable Lawrence Asamoah, your hand is up. Unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Lawrence, Kwabre East constituency. I happened to come across the YEC platform on LinkedIn, and I got to know that that place is not active because all these campaigns for this year's cohort has not reflected on the LinkedIn account.
The LinkedIn platform.
So I wanted to know if there's another LinkedIn platform that they are operating, or it's just that they have neglected that one and they are focusing on Facebook. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So it's just that one. I think we've not paid much attention to that particular platform. Just that one. It's just that one. I think I need to look at it again. It's just that one. There's also there's Twitter, there's X, there is, and the rest. I will look at it. It's that very one. I'll look at it. Honorable Benefit, Bra Benefit. Unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
So thank you for the
Your voice is a bit far. Can you amplify it a bit?
I'm coming. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are audible. Let's hear you.
Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Honorable. Kindly go ahead.
Okay. Please, I would like to ask the swearing in. Can you come with people like 3 or 2 people there?
I think I will communicate on that in the coming days.
Okay.
Because our venue is not that large. At peak, you should be able to come with just a person.
A person?
Yes, a person at peak. But I'll communicate on that. Our venue is not that large.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that is it with that.
Okay.
Honorable Bismillah, kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I really appreciate the latitude given to me. Honorable, my question is how many meetings are we having over the whole year? I mean, general meetings, and regional, or is just the national one? Thank you.
Okay, so I think on schedule, we are supposed to have 6 days of meetings. Now, with the 6 days of meetings that was still mentioned on the application forms, the first one is the inauguration, and then we have Congress. Congress will take about 3 days. And then we are looking at a likely end of year. We keep on saying likely because of the timelines when Congress will occur. And then there is that of 2026 May. So it should be around 6. But this time around, the initial communication was that all meetings are centralized. We are not moving. So this year, YEC is not traveling as an organization across the zones. All the meetings will be in Accra. That is what was mentioned earlier before we started the registrations and the voting. So that we will maintain that as well. Now there's a huge reasons why meetings are being curtailed to a central point. So we will maintain that. So take note of that, we'll maintain that. And then as of when we realize the meetings will be too many, we will know exactly how best to manage it for us to not meet too many often, if possible. But then the meetings are in Accra, just as we mentioned earlier. So that is it with that. Honorable, I hope I've answered you.
Yes, but please, what I want to add is that the accommodation and the part, I mean, you have already explained that, but I would want to know, we go in, I mean, somewhere in the camp, just a humble suggestion. I think it doesn't speak well of us and it doesn't speak well of it. I think even if it will come with a fee, it will help because these are honorable members. We can't just go out and be eating. All right. So I think if you can do something about it, even if it will come with a fee, those interested will pay. I think.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I think Salamatu also mentioned that. But then I said, but then always that is not compulsory. So if you would want that, then the coalition is done, and then they get a caterer who will do it, then bring it very much on time. I think Congress, the food came very early. There was no problem with lateness and the rest. So it could be done. I think the challenge we may have is where the eatery will be. But we could still work around that so that all of us or those that will be interested will just meet at one place and then dine. Still possible. So we'll communicate on that. We'll do the inquiries and communicate.
All right, thank
you. You are welcome. Honorable Amponsan Emmanuel, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
I'm sure you can hear me well.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. I just not to say much. I just want to congratulate everybody here and then hoping to see everybody. But what I just want to add is that every member should try his or possible best to be able to come for the inauguration. And then the subsequent meetings we'll be doing in the year. That's all what I can say. But I was also looking at one thing, those saying about the distance. I think we're all coming from a place that is very far, but normally this is how I do it. When you get to Accra, like it's on Saturday, so leave on Friday evening, get to Accra on Saturday morning, and maybe probably just when you arrive, you can book your ticket again, and then you can leave in the evening. So the only thing I can say is that maybe Mr. Mafu, we can try this time around so that we can be able to close early for whoever want to go back should be able to go back early. That's all what I want to say.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you very much. Honorable Precious Kobe, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you, General Secretary. Nyatama Precious Kobe.
Okay.
And then the YMP for the Tama West constituency.
Okay.
Mine is a follow-up question with regards to the introduction letter. Is it going to be drafted by YEC or the individual member of parliament?
In relation to what?
The introductory letter to the MP.
Okay, so we will have samples and then you can fine tune and make adjustments to it.
Okay, another question also.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. With respect to positions like the deputy chief whips, can first timers be given the opportunity so that maybe they can also learn on the job?
Deputy chief whips.
Yeah.
It depends. When you apply and you go through the necessary vetting and the rest, and you come out as an able individual, I think you can still apply. It's not a complete no that a first timer cannot apply, but what we look out for is usually the little bit of knowledge.
Okay.
You get it. Okay. That is what I think I mentioned.
Okay, so and then another suggestion too is about social media visibility.
Okay.
I think for now the concentration is much on Facebook. Why don't we divert to the Instagram, X, and then LinkedIn, as someone also said?
Okay. So I think I have to be the one managing them, and sometimes it gets overwhelming. So if you have enough time and you can dedicate some of your time to handle some of them, that will be fine. I think a part of the committees of parliament is publication or media and publication committee also. So we can also liaise with that committee to handle some of the platforms.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Honorable Afira Isabella, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And thank you for the opportunity given. Please, I want to ask, some of us are students, especially me. Assuming we have meeting either on Zoom or face-to-face, and it's like weekdays, how do we go about it? Or if it is on Zoom, I go to class in the evening and close like 10 or 9.
I'm listening. Or you are done?
So how? I'm not talking to me.
Okay, so this is it with the schedules. I've actually informed the programs office to not make the schedules too many this time around. The schedules are supposed to be very few. Now, meetings here are pre-communicated. Like this inauguration like this, they started planning it 3 months back. So Congress is communicated like 4 months ahead. So even with virtual engagements, it's still the same. We have the schedule so that you can prepare. You can prepare for it. To get it, you have the schedule so that you can prepare for it. And when we said you can't miss a meeting, we didn't say because there are circumstances there is nothing you can do. The official way is to write to the appropriate channel. I think it goes to the speaker to know that you'll be absenting yourself based on ABCDFGH. But just that it's not supposed to become a habit where the person misses every meeting, continuous for 3 times. That is where the issue comes in. So that
Another one, please.
Okay.
When you were talking about the projects and then introduction letter to your MP, my network was balancing. I couldn't get that one. Can you repeat it or? Okay,
so what I said was that as of where is needed, you get an introductory letter introducing you to the places you want to go and introduce yourself at. Again, you also receive your ID, and then you have a YMP specific letterhead. So Office of the Youth MP for so and so, and then you have a letterhead of your own with the logos and everything on it. So even if you need to write for sponsorships for your community project or anything, you have your letterhead to write to use for that particular exercise. So that is what I said regarding that. Yes. Honorable Nafil, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. This is Chief Losina Amebelen.
Okay.
YMP for Adan constituency.
Okay.
Please, my concern is about engagement with our MPs. I want to know with project executions, there are some of the constituencies that we, the YMPs, our political affiliations are known in their constituencies, and we might not be in the same faction with the current MPs. How are we going to carry ourselves so that it doesn't look like we are competing with them, though we know it's not a competition, so that there is a clear cut and they accommodate us and help us so that it doesn't look like people are being raised under them to take over them.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So thank you for the question. Now, that is one of the major problems that youth parliaments have had. It's a challenge because, we suspect each other so much as a people. Then our politics is in such a way that if you're not in the same party, it becomes a problem. So there is also something we call need communication. When you want to work with an MP or something in a constituency, you need to know where the MP's focus is. Then the projects to execute must be fixed within the context of possibly that particular focus. That is where he will give you the ear and even the attention. So if he's passionate about girls' child education within the framework of the district or the constituency, and you are passionate about drug abuse, you are going on 2 different points. It's not going to work. So you need to identify how best to work your way through that. And it also depends on how you publicize the project you are going to do. Sometimes communication could be done to spite, and then it will appear as if he is not doing anything. You get it? As if he is not doing anything. So the introduction needs to be done. that I represent you on this program. However, it's also a requirement to embark on a community project. So this time around, I'm doing this relative to, let's say, education, and I will need this kind of support and this kind of help. You don't necessarily need money from him or resources. Maybe he will just give you a letter. Maybe he will just give you his blessing for the first time. Then you keep in touch like that. But generally, you belonging to another political party wanting to actually get close to the other political party's MP will be very difficult. So you need to also have it at the back of your mind that you may have to do the project without necessarily the MP coming through as well. So that is the mindset you need. You need to weigh that and then know how best to navigate in that particular instance. I hope I've answered you.
Yes, please. Please, the last one, the quick one. Please, with community projects, with permission, and do we have to go to assemblies, and what are the modalities with that, so that you don't just see?
It depends on the project itself. You know, we have community stakeholders. So it depends on the project. If it's a health project, for instance, and you need to do it in the hospital, you definitely need the health directorate. Letters have to go, you need approvals. The same applies to education. You also need approvals. So it's dependent on the project. And in any of the projects you do, you have to seek permission. So it's incumbent on you to look for where to send the permission letters to, and then wait for approvals before you do it. So that is it with that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Honorable James Kweku, your hand have been up for a very long time. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. Honorable James Kweku. Okay, so Honorable Joseph Wani, your hand is up. Unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Okay, Honorable.
Okay. Yeah, good evening to you and good evening to honorable members. Thank you very much for the opportunity. There is something that I want to find out. You made mention of representatives at the constituency level. That is the MC, the diplomats, and then maybe health directorate and the other appointees. My question is, how is it going? How is those appointments going to be made? Is it after the inauguration or it will be done before the inauguration? Thank you.
Honorable, don't mute your microphone. Which positions are you referring to?
I'm referring to the MC, maybe MC, maybe health director at the district level.
The YMP program don't have that. I think I was making reference to positions in our national politics that are usually politically motivated or influenced. That is what I made mention to. I think the only positions left are the caucus leadership, the speakership, and then that of ministers that will be opened later in the House for members who are interested to just express interest. Those are the only ones left.
Oh.
All right.
Okay, well noted. Thank you.
You're welcome. Honorable Malani Bell, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. You are very far behind.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am Malan Abel Blossom and YMP elect for Sabuba constituency. Please, I hope I am laudable.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So I think one of the questions I wanted to ask has been asked just the person before me, but then I would like to know more, because most of us, or some of us, specifically to me, I am not in my constituency, and I've not had another person who will represent as a district MP or some other thing. So would there be a chance for us to nominate other portfolios for them to represent us in the district, so that we can be having information about the district whilst we are away?
Okay, so I think that speaks to you building a team to be able to work with. However, this is the challenge with building a team. There has to be a reason for building the team. And then it goes back to you having a drive in the community first. So to start with, you need to have a community drive to want to put a team together. So you don't just, you don't just go and appoint communications director, director of programs and projects, director of this, communications, this and that. You need to have a drive in the community. So maybe the Malans community drive, then you appoint them as your support system. That one works. But anything aside that, you wouldn't need to appoint anyone. You didn't need to appoint anyone. I hope that is clear.
Yes, please. Thank you. But I have another one.
Okay.
Because of network issues, I couldn't, as at the time you were speaking about the ministerial positions, I was not online as at then. So I didn't hear, most especially if you can brief me about the qualifications on.
Okay, so mostly for ministers, you need to have maybe a background in education that is relative to that particular field to help you work well. So if it's about Ministry of Education, usually an educationist is preferred, just for you to be able to understand what goes on there. If it's about trade, somebody that maybe went to school to do a little bit of trade. If it's about health, the health minister, for instance, maybe a health worker would work well. That is how it operates. So that is it. But there will definitely be the requirements on the forms as well for us to read before you go ahead and tender in an application to want to be part of the ministers.
Okay, then thank you very much. The last one, please. Would there be official introduction letters from you to our various MPs, or it is when you have the zeal or the will to introduce yourself to the MP, then you ask for introduction letter?
Yes, so it is when you are about to. That is when you ask for that.
Okay.
It is when you are.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Honorable Catherine, Honorable Bless Catherine, Honorable Catherine, I think your hand was up. If you can hear me, you can unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. Honorable Catherine. All right. Honorable John Nati, Chief of Staff of Youth Model Cabinet, kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. The call is dropping, so.
All right. Thank you very much, General. And a very good evening to all on the platform. But General, I want to give a very quick suggestion. Okay. I think listening to the questions and all that the honorable members are bringing, most of the things have been said. And as the practice, I know you are recording the live, which you will share on the various platforms. So I think to save us the time, if anyone is having issues with a point, once the recording is placed on the platform, you should be able to play it and then you get the point so that we will not spend much time on this. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So let's just take a few and then we'll be done. Before that, let me chip this in so that if you don't have a question and you are okay with the details, etc., you could also even take your leave. Now for group 1 and group 2, those of you that had more votes than the 750 required, I think I've been able to do your refund. I think it's left with about just 2, that is Honorable Selassie, and then is it Zook or Soup? 2 people. But the rest, I did it about 2 weeks or a week ago. What is left is group 3, those that just ended DS. The group 4 that just ended DS, yours will be done next week. That is within Monday, Tuesday. So I request for your Momo number, your full name, and then the network. And I will be able to do the excess, send you the excess of the required votes that we needed. So if you haven't gotten yours yet and you are in group 3, kindly take note of that. I will come into your DM again, requesting for that details. So in case you don't have a question and you are clear and the rest, I think you can still take your leave. It's left with just 4 people and then we are done. So Honorable Roger, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone. Let's be brief. We are it's currently 9:28. Honorable Roger. Okay, Honorable Bright Atidama, if I had the name right, unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. If your question has been answered, to kindly lower your hand. Honorable Rubin, Honorable Bismillah, and
Hello.
Precious, you should lower your hand. Yes, Honorable Roger, let's hear from you.
Yes, good evening, General, and then good evening, Honorable.
Good evening.
Yes, General, I want you to clear something there regards to the appointment and confirmation under the various caucuses. It seems, if I heard you clear, you did mention that for you to be able to tender in your application or maybe to be considered as a leader in any of the caucuses, you should be an existing member or somebody that has ever hold any position in the consortium. But as you said, some of us are students leaders and we are leaders in the political space. And then we have, though we are first timers to youth model parliament, we had some expertise in that. So I don't know whether if you are a first timer and you also have some expertise in some of these caucuses, you can still apply. That is what I want to find out from you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. So to correct what I said is you need to have some background knowledge on parliamentary business. Okay. I didn't say that you should have been a member of the YEC platform only. I said if you've had some experience on parliamentary business, whether from a student parliament or from another parliament, that is verifiable. Then when it opens, you can apply. That is what I said. The idea is, those things are technical. I remember one year, I think 2022, we had a majority leader for one of the zones who could not move motion. And that's a problem. So that is what I said regarding the caucus leadership applications. So it's not strict that it has to be YEC only. Yes.
Very well. Thank you. Thank you very much, General. But my last one, this one is just a clarification. Therefore, with the inauguration, is it just a day's program or?
Yes, it's just a day. It's just a day. That is the Saturday. It starts at, I think, 8:30. Hopefully, we should end around somewhere 3:30 thereabout. But I doubt because when we meet, is always the debates are dragged. So I doubt it will be 3:30. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, honorable member.
You are welcome. Honorable Bright Atidama, if you can hear me, unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. If you've picked your question already, please lower your hand. Honorable Bright.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. He has stated my question, but one thing is not clarified because during your presentation, you made mention that if you should have an expertise in a student parliament or any other experience that you have that you can give an evidence for. So I want to know what form the evidence should be, because those of us who are students and members of the school's parliament, it is at the end of your stay in the school that you'll be presented with a certificate as an evidence of parliamentary member or a member of parliament. So I want to know what evidence we are supposed to present. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So in this case, you can get a letter from the school's parliament indicating that you are leader this, leader that, to buttress the claim and then the point.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Honorable Emmanuel Balan, your hand is up. Kindly unmute your microphone and let's hear from you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, good evening and thank you very much, General, for your insightful orientation and presentation.
Okay.
Mine has to do with two things.
Okay.
Regarding the accommodation, I know you have already spoken about it, but I would suggest that you still get in touch so that at least we can all be housed together at one particular place, since we are coming from afar, and then so we can know each other very well. And then secondly, with regards to the payment, you said group 1 and 2 have been, the refund has been done. Actually, I have not seen any alert from with regards to that for group 1. So I don't know if you can quickly check and then so you rectify that for us. Thank you.
Okay. Did I send you a message requesting for your Momo number and the other?
Yes, please.
I think I did. Oh, okay. Then I think I'll do it. Do prompt me. Prompt me in my DM to that effect.
All right, very well.
Yours, Honorable Selassie, and then one other for group 1 and 2. Then we are done.
All
and
right.
Group 3 will be done next week. Honorable Adiko, your hand is still up.
Yes, please. This just a quick one. Thank you very much for coming for the second time. Please, I know now internationally we are trying to promote where Ghana, eat Ghana, do everything Ghana. Concerning our language of communication, hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Kindly go ahead. Honorable, you are audible. Okay, Honorable Bethel, unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. Let's take the last one from you.
Good evening to my colleagues, honorables.
Okay.
Please, would there be a media on our swearing in day?
As in, will media be there? Maybe TV3 and the rest?
Yes, please.
Okay, yes, there will be TV3, there will be Metro TV. These are the two major media platforms we are liaising with. And then I think for online publication, there's myjoyonline.com, and then there is Sikamai. These are the ones that will be available. We are likely to do a live stream. We are likely to do a live stream as well. So that is it with that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Welcome. All right, so once again, we've come to the end of our meeting. Thank you very much, honorable members, for your time. We recorded a meeting. It's on YouTube, and then also we recorded it into. So possibly, I'll share it with you tomorrow and revisit it. And if any part of it is not clear, you can always reach out for clarity. Aside that, also there's also another meeting I have with you. That is time with the General Secretary. That will be about a week to the meeting, and then that briefing will be solely on the meeting itself, right? On Thursday, we will start the trainings on parliamentary business. So you start the basics. Then when that is done, we go into the leadership nominations and then put that final part together. Once you have your house, you are likely not going to see me much with the processes. So thank you very much for your time. I'm grateful, and hopefully we'll meet very soon, and start preparing also for your inauguration. It's going to be very beautiful. So thank you, and once again, have a blessed evening. Bye.
Okay, thank you too. Good night.
Yes. So, General, will the presentation slide be shared?
Yes, I'll send it on the page when I share the link. When I share the link tomorrow morning.
All right, then. Thank you.
Okay,
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Bye bye.
Yes, some of us are suffering from doing so.